Alright, in this video we have another sick iMac board. This is a 2013 iMac 27-inch, and the fault on this is the customer plugged in a faulty USB external hard drive and the iMac just shut off immediately, and then they weren't sure if it was the hard drive or whatever, so they actually plugged it into another iMac and killed that one as well. So both of those iMacs landed in my shop, and I repaired the first board, found that a certain fault with a certain chip, U7600, which is the 3.3 and 5 volt LDO, or the 3.3 and 5 volt regulator, was shorted and blown because USB 2.0 runs off 5 volts, and so something was wrong with that device. I don't know. I never saw the hard drive. They just told me the story that they plugged it in and it shut off. And so this is iMac number 2. We are going to just go through quickly what I did. I looked at this chip here. This is U7600 down here. These are your USB ports on the other side of this board. The board number, I believe, is the same exact one as the first board I fixed. So this is mainly just to help other people if something as similar has happened to your iMac. If you've plugged in a hard drive or something and the device just the iMac shuts off, maybe this could help somebody else. That's the whole purpose of this video. Is not a tutorial on how to troubleshoot. It's more of a, hey, this is what happened, this is what I diagnosed, this is how I repaired it, it's now working. The model of this logic board is an A203298 from 2012-2013 iMac. So what I did, to make a long story short, I pulled out a thermal camera and I powered the board up on the desk, which I don't recommend everybody does. Here's the power supply. This has been unplugged for over 3 or 4 days, and I tested the rail caps to make sure there's no voltage on them, and they're just not. But if you are not careful and do not know what you're doing, do not attempt to power this board on the bench, because there's exposed areas where the legs of the rail caps, these big rail caps right here, they will give you a nasty shock, potentially ending your life. So, disclaimer, if you do this, you're doing it at your own risk. I am not going to power this board on because I did it the first time. I used my thermal camera, found that chip to be 150 degrees, and I also I'll measure the cap on this video just to show you again that it's the same exact fault. But I'm not going to power it on externally. I will go ahead and do the testing real quick, replace the chip. We'll put the board back in the chassis and everything, and then I'll fire it up and show you that it works. I'm going to go ahead and pull my overhead camera, my scope camera down here, and let's see if we'll switch to scope cam. I've got to adjust or reactivate and deactivate my camera. My cable keeps playing up. Okay, so there is our chip. That's U7600. I don't remember exactly where the 5 volt, well, the 5 volt in goes here from this cap. There's 5 volt in, and then I think like 3.3 is here, or 3.3 is here, 5 volts over here, and then this is like I have to look at the schematic. I'm not going to explain it. If you're doing this type of board repair, you should know how to read schematics, find this chip, and have a board viewer available. This is not something you're just going to guess on. It will take you hours and hours and hours. It took me 10 minutes to figure out what was wrong with this board, and that's a good typical length of time to do a board repair when you have a business and you're repairing multiple devices in a day. You don't want to spend 5 hours. Maybe the initial one, but you know, since it was two of the same device, I noticed, you know, that it could be a pattern. So I went to this chip and I measured, and sure enough, I'll put my multimeter in diode mode, and we'll put my red probe on a ground point or a screw, and then you test one side. Should be ground, I think, is that side, and then you hear that this is short as well. That should not, both those should not be short, and just like the other one, I measured the same exact short. So we're gonna, and down my multimeter is acting up. Okay, that's enough for you, multimeter. We're gonna go ahead and remove this chip. Normally I would have my fume extractor on, but there's over 11 inches of board in between this chip and my fume extractor, so it's pointless to have it on, and it makes noise, so we're gonna go without it. But normally every day I use my fume extractor. I don't take chances. So my hot air is set at 425 and 90 air. We're gonna go ahead and remove this chip, and we're gonna try to remember that pin 1 is up here, I believe, in the top right. We'll tilt the board so you can see it. Yes. This is an ISL 62383C regulator. Now you can get these chips. I'm pulling from a donor, but I think you can buy them from certain places. I just, for the sake of time, I'm pulling from another board that works but has backlight problems. I'll probably fix that one too later, but for now I'm just gonna, that one's not an urgent repair. This one I'd like to get done, so we're gonna go ahead and pull this board off here. Chip, excuse me. Pull this chip off the board. We'll just kind of wiggle a little bit and see if it's loose yet. Probably takes a minute here. These boards are pretty thick. Okay. Got our chip off. We're going to go ahead and take this solder off, and we'll use some nice leaded solder to make our job easier at reinstalling the new chip. I'll still kind of blow the solder fumes away from my face. I also have a fan on right now, so I think I need to go higher with my temperature here. We'll go up to 625. There we go. Alright. We'll go ahead and let that cool off, and then we'll do a diode measurement again, just to confirm that our short is now gone. I'm going to try to make this repair quickly. I don't want to make it an hour long for just this one chip, so alright, this board is still pretty warm, so we're gonna give it another 60 seconds or something to cool off. All that heat in here could affect our reading, so it's pretty cool now. Scratched up the board a little bit, but this is not a retail customer's computer. This is one of my business-to-business customers, iMac, so they're not going to be too bothered that the solder mask is scratched up. Alright, let's do ground again just to test. Yep. And as you can see, the short is gone, which confirms not only was that chip faulty, but it confirms that the same exact issue happened to this board as the previous board that I repaired. That ISL 62, what was it, 62383C? 62383C, yeah. So it confirms that that chip died as a result of plugging in a faulty hard drive into one of the USB-A ports. I don't know if this model has a USB-C port, but if you plugged it in a faulty drive into that, I think it would burn up a different chip. Alright, we're gonna throw some leaded solder down on these pads here. Got a little too much in the middle, but that's alright. We'll take care of that in a minute. We'll just go ahead and soak up some of that solder. Oops, didn't mean to take all of it. That's right, we'll put a little dab there. That's probably good, and we'll solder the other chip on, and then we'll clean up the legs, make sure everything is soldered nicely, and we will put this board back in the chassis with a screen and see if it works. I'm going to go ahead and heat up this area real quick. Try to get our chip a little bit centered here, and then let it fly off. Okay. Let's try that again. Getting a little squirrely here. Take our heat off real quick. Push down. Release. Go ahead and clean this up. As you can see, we've got pins that are touching each other. Probably could stand to use a different tip, but this is my favorite one, so we're gonna just roll with it. Want these joints shiny. Make these joints all nice and shiny. Don't want dull solder joints. There we go. Let's clean that up and see what we're working with here. Give it a good scrubbing. Make sure we don't have any pins that are bridged. That would not be good, since pretty much used my last donor chip. I did order some new chips, but they will not be here for a little while, so. Clean this up a little bit better. Oh, I just noticed something. Yeah, we gotta fix that. We can't leave these little dimples here on those caps. We gotta make this look somewhat like we know what we're doing. There we go. All right, maybe one more Kim wipe and alcohol and call it good. All right. Of course, we still have to reassemble the iMac, but done this a few times, so it shouldn't take too long, hopefully. All right, we have no bridged pins there. Do we have a little bit of what looks like solder stuck on the board, fume or flux, excuse me. Trying to find the right word, flux, but that's okay. And I don't see any bridged pins. No bridged pins. Good, good. Zoom in here. Sorry, I apologize for the lighting situation. Okay, yeah. Nope, no shorted pins together. We do have some fuzz we need to get rid of, though. Don't like left behind fuzz fibers. All right. go to overhead and clean up our mess, get this thing plugged back in, and see if she works. I apologize. Since this iMac is a 27-inch, it's going to be in the way for a bit. I'm going to go to overhead. Okay. So I'm going to try to quickly get this plugged back in. First we'll do our hard drive cable. I would lay this down and show you guys what I'm doing, but there's not a lot of room on my bench to do such things. Anyway, I can do like that. Plug in so that's the power for SATA, and then the SATA drive cable goes down there. That's for our camera and our light sensor. So we're just gonna put our board back in. Kind of line things up. Where's our screwdriver at? Get the screw back here. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm basically screwing in the board here. I'm not going to put all the screws back in, obviously. I'm going to hook things up just to the point where we can test. So got our camera. Camera or light sensor. This is a bit tricky to do with one hand. So there's that. Plug that in. May as well plug our antenna wires into, since we're here. So I'm basically just over here is your Wi-Fi card. Just plugging in those antenna cables. Trying to anyway. Not wanting to cooperate with me. We'll just put a couple of screws in the motherboard, and we'll put the power supply in, and then just, you know, attach the screen and lay it down. And okay, so now there's our Wi-Fi wires. All right, let's get got our bin full of screws. Well, that works out good. I could put that right there. Ha. Look at that. Let's see if I can get this standoff installed here. So I just installed, oops, destroy my microscope. You can't see it, but there's a big standoff right there for the power supply. So we've got two screws holding in the board right now. Actually, we could probably put all the we can lose the screws inside the iMac, which leads me to my next suggestion is to have a magnetic pickup tool. All right, I guess we're going upside down now. Got it. Ha. Let's try that again. Success. Much more successful that time around. Yeah, we're at 26 minutes, so I'll put the board back all the way in. We've got about 5 minutes of assembly, if all goes well. I'll just leave the right speaker out for now. See if we get a flashing question mark folder, and then I'll put it back in. These screws are not magnetic, or slightly magnetic. All right. Board is in. Oh, I forgot we got these two. I'm doing these two screws now. You can't see them, they're behind this cable, but there's a hole there. And there's a hole back here. Can't see it, but these little shoulder screws go in there. I always forget those for some reason. I cannot see. I think I got it. I got it. Got one. Pretty much doing this blind. Whoa, got shaky there. Oh, it is magnetic, look at that. I saved it. Only to smack it up against there. Oh, these screws are fiddly. Also fighting the drive cable as well. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. This is so fiddly. Get in there, you turd. Oh, it's going in crooked. Still going crooked. There we go. We got her now. Well, that was fun. Okay, now for the power supply. And we need our power supply cable, which I seem to have misplaced. There it is. Talking about this cable here. Goes between the board, the motherboard, and motherboard and the power supply. Okay, so that's that. And we can start sliding the power supply in. Plug in the main 10, I think it's a 10-pin connector into the side of the motherboard here. All right. Nice. Power supply hooked up here. Now I am touching this and I have rubber gloves on. And like I said, this power supply has been off for days, so and I've measured, so I'm confident that there is not voltage in there that can harm me. But if you are going to work on iMac, make sure that those rail caps are all the voltage is dissipated out of them. Oh. We're losing her. I think I've got the power supply slightly tilted. The screw does not want to go in. Yeah, it's fighting me. Somehow I feel like I got the wrong size bit in here. Try a different size. T10. Seems to do better than the T9. Put our power button, 2-pin power button connector into the hard drive. That. Seem to be missing one screw, I think. Don't recall if that screw was there or not. Do we need a long screw in that one? I think so. I think we might have put a long screw in the wrong spot here. Let's find out. Oh, that's short. Nope, that's short. Ooh. The screw's not put in straight. The speaker. Is this a short screw? New. Jeez. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know. I'm not sure. If that long screw is actually missing or not. Alright. So all we have left is 2 speaker and 3 fans. So we gotta put the fan in and put this cable in still too. We're rapidly approaching 40 minutes. Alright, where's our fan? Our fan's a little dusty, so I'm going to mute real quick so I can clean the fan out. Alright, sorry, I'm back. Just tried to clean the fan out, but it's going to require my compressor instead of a can of dust off. It's going to need actual compressed air out of a tank to get the dust out of it, but we're gonna just put this back together real quick for testing, and then I'll take the fan back out and clean it and stuff before I send it back to the customer if it works. Alright, and now all that's left is get a power cable and the screen. Fine. There's the power cable. Got the power cable, got the LCD. We're going to put some tape on this LCD so it doesn't fall off and break. It's already cracked, but we don't want to make it worse. Huh. Yeah. Even though this is a 2013 machine, these screens are still pretty expensive. Alright. Plug in our LCD cable. this cable. We're going to close the machine. I'm going to mute again because I'm going to pull some tape real quick. Makeshift screen hinges. Alright, now I'm going to sit down and plug this in. See if we get a chime and a flashing question mark folder. I'm going to go ahead, for the purposes of the video, I'm going to lay this down. See if I can invade some privacy here. Click my mouse a few times. Hopefully I didn't stop the video. Looks like we're still recording, even though everything's trying to get unplugged again. Alright, now let's hit the power button and see what happens. Oh, I didn't plug the other speaker in, so we're not going to get a chime. I forgot that I unplugged the other speaker. Gosh darn it. Oh well. I guess you get just the flashing question mark folder. I forgot to plug the speaker back in. I'll be sure to do that. Other drill bit. And as you can see, we have a flashing question mark folder, which means we have repaired yet another iMac logic board that suffered the same fate of having a faulty USB external hard drive plugged into it, which killed the machine, caused it to shut off immediately. No power, killed the U7600 on this board. 3.3 volt and 5 volt regulator. So that's it for this video. I hope this video can help somebody fix their iMac if they ran into the same problem. This is Tim with Optimized Logic Repair, wishing you a happy repair. And if you need anything repaired, and you can reach out to us at www.optimizedlogicrepair.com. You can email us at support@optimizedlogicrepair.com. I want to thank you again for watching this. Have a good night.